Hey, I'm Paul from the Tech Geeks. A highlight of last week, Gio and I had the opportunity to attend the Ubiquiti World Conference in Sydney, here in Australia. This was the last venue that Ubiquiti had gone to as they've traveled the world. And it was a great opportunity to meet a whole lot of the team. There was around about 20 of the Ubiquiti staff that have traveled to Australia and around the world as part of this world conference. What am I going to talk about? I wanted to talk about some of the things that I saw, some of the impressions that I got. I'm not going to tell you about secretive products or new products that are coming that I can't talk about, but I will tell you about where I feel that Ubiquiti is going and some of those products that are coming to market soon. Gio and I had a privilege, probably the highlight for us, to sit down with Robert Pera and Safi, the VP of Global Sales, for about 40 minutes and just talk about the Ubiquiti sales that we make, about the products that we need here in Australia, some of the things that we face, supply chain issues, issues with power packs, all of those type of things. It was a really great time, and I know that I was felt and Gio were made feel very welcome. World scale, Australia is probably very small in Ubiquiti's sales, but we were felt to be listened to and heard and very welcome, and had some great discussions with Robert himself. And I think the thing I love when I meet entrepreneurs, when I meet founders, when I meet people who have created their company, I love to see where are they at. And Ubiquiti has grown to being such a massive company now. But Robert is so much still a fuel, a conceptual person. I'm saying, oh, Robert, I think, these are some of the struggles with the size and definition that we have of Australia, and he's going, well, maybe we could do this, or maybe we could do this. And they were already actively thinking about solutions that we were talking about. That love for the products and the company that is created is infectious. And that is part of why I love Ubiquiti as a product range. Because it's not just about a product you buy off the shelf. It has so many components that you can create solutions. And when we create solutions for customers, that is much better than just saying, here's this, use it. We can say, oh, but you needed to do this, or you needed to do that. So what were my impressions of the event? There was around about 800 to 1,000 people there. It was definitely skewed a lot more towards the unified product range. There was really very little mention of that UISP side of things. That is, I guess, in many ways fairly stable. It has a fairly loyal following. But a lot of what we're probably seeing is what's going to happen here in the Unify range. So as you walked in, there was a whole massive wall there of U7 Pros that were given away to people. One thing I probably did catch that I think is good. Over time, we've had different covers that could go on the access points that Ubiquiti have sold. Maybe they've been stone, black, all of those type of things. What is going, and this is public knowledge, it's just been released anyway, is the cover for the U7 Pro. Maybe we'll see this come on some of the other units now as well. But it's actually a full paintable cover. So you can match that to your ceiling, your walls, however you decorative paint, anything that you can do with that. And I think that's a great way forward with how we mount and use access points. Probably not one of the most profound things, but one thing that stuck out for me. We then walked through a demonstration area of some of the new equipment that was there. Now you've got to remember, when this tour started a few weeks ago, we had things like the Dream Machine Pro Max hadn't been released, and that's out now. So obviously those type of things we're having a look at that were secretive a few weeks ago. Pro Max, what's great, we're seeing twice, we don't have PoE ports on that device, but we do have greater throughput. And so it can handle more units. We've got 2 hard drive bays, so we can do failover. Obviously, other things that were just recently released that weren't secretive now are things like the Turret Ultra and the Dome Ultra. A great set of smaller form factor cameras that were there. And then other things, and these have been leaked, and in fact, only a couple of days ago, this was listed for a very short moment in time on Ubiquiti's American site, so I have no issue with talking about that. And that is a new PTZ camera, so pan, tilt, zoom. I'm not sure how many times there's different discussions about what zoom that we're going to. It's about this sort of size, about the size of a small ball, probably like this. It's got a stem and it's going to hang. It's really, really sturdily made. It's got a LED light on it. I don't think it's going to be too badly priced. It's certainly going to be that first point where we actually have a PTZ in a form factor and a cost bracket that will match what we're after. So really excited to see that. And I would imagine that it's only a few weeks away. So that'll be the G5 PTZ. Don't know whether it'll have Ultra at the end or something like that, but it's sort of in that coming out along with those Turret Ultras and Dome Ultras. So that was really exciting. What other things do we know that have been leaked by various other sites? And as part of this tour, we know that there is some upgrades coming to UniFi Access. Previously, we've always got to have a UniFi hub to power everything. I believe that there is a device coming that has some limited functions in it. Don't think it's going to have a camera or anything like that, but it will have a reader in it with a couple of terminals so it can be connected directly to a door strike. So we're again starting to get a flow of where we see the maturity coming. Part of that conversation when we sat down with Robert Pera was about what can we do more as partners, and his was what we want to show the world that although we've grown and we're a quick innovating company, what we're trying to show now is that we've got longevity. We've got product and product set that we're invested in. We're going to create, long-term solutions out of these, have different firmwares or whatever that will be run for a long term. How that all works out in practice, I don't know. But there was very much for a feeling of we're here for the long haul now. We are going to keep innovating and creating new products, but we want to show the world that you can trust and grow and build on what we've got. And I think it's no surprise for a company like this that we are going to see a raft of enterprise end devices coming. I'm not going to go into the specifics of that, but enterprise covers quite a lot. Over here in Australia, it's maybe a little bit different because enterprise is maybe only 100 or so staff. But I think we are going to maybe see some more things across all of those. Obviously, as we know, the U7 Pro has come out, so it doesn't take a lot of imagination to imagine that there might be a whole raft of other U7 devices around that. And I do see that is meeting some needs. We see wireless 6E rolled into that. So we do see performance increases as a result of maybe being early adopters of a U7 range. What do we see in that Ultra range? We've loved seeing the USW Ultra. We've got the Cloud Gateway Ultra that again only a few weeks ago was sort of top secret. So those were all set up there. Love seeing that smaller end entry unit. Maybe we're missing a device there that does more than just UniFi network. Maybe we will see in due course a device that could do more on the box. Maybe we'll be able to run UniFi Access on it, or maybe even UniFi Protect, because we've got things like the UDR, the Ubiquiti Dream router that's got an access point and has some smaller functionality in it. So if we're wanting to be able to get into that starter end of the market, those prosumers, then maybe we will see some of those other devices there. It was truly a great time to really just see people encouraged about a product set that is growing. I think there's going to be some more products coming in the UniFi range that maybe will be a crossover from AirMax. So maybe we can see, here in Australia, what are we doing? We're trying to do a lot more with Starlink and other vendors where we realize we want to connect other buildings together. And I think that's one of my, always been one of my conversations here on, that if you know me or you've listened to some of the YouTubes, that there's no convergence compared with some of the other vendors where they've got their AirMax style products and their home style products or their UniFi style products managed into one control panel. I don't think that we're maybe going to see that with Ubiquiti, but I do think what we might see is the technology move across. So some of that AirMax technology starts to appear in devices that we would say in UniFi. And so we can now start rolling out solutions that easily connect buildings together over more than, because we've only really got the, the Ubiquiti building to building bridge, the UBB. All right, and it's only 500 meters. That would be amazing if we could see something that could do a kilometer or 2 kilometers but was managed. It was already easily pairable and it was already managed through UniFi. I think that would start to see this portfolio grow. So I loved the event. It was a great privilege to sit down with Robert Pera I got infectious again about how good the product range is coming. Their quality of the build, it keeps improving. Their quality of what they want to see, and the software and features that are coming. You know, the features that we're already seeing now in Network 8, if you're running the, access points and you're running the switches, and more importantly running the routers, we're seeing a great development in, that entry level firewalling, packet management, application aware. We're starting to see policy management around those applications as well, which really started into a useful firewall. We need that type of packet and application management really to do SD-WAN properly anyway. But I think we're going to start to see that scale up, and maybe we're going to start to see devices that have what we would maybe call a bit more actual firewalling in there. Whether that'll have subscriptions or not, I don't know. I don't know how those type of things would work, but it'd be really interesting. We already know with things like the Pro-Max, so the Dream Machine Pro-Max, that we've actually got what they call shadow, so you can run 2 units together and they can fail over. I think we're seeing this more resilience. We're here to stay. We're building what we've got. We're giving you enterprise style features without the licensing costs. We want you to adopt these and be trusted with them. These will scale to not, only just a home or a standard small office, but, we could have hundreds and hundreds of, access points, hundreds and hundreds of cameras. And we heard a presentation from one organization that's, got 300 or 400 cameras, that's got 300 or 400 access points and aggregation switches, and running an actual stadium that works with this type of technology. So it is there and it works. Probably a massive ramble around there. I'm sorry if you were looking for juicy bits, but no, it wasn't. This was more really a thing of amazing highlight to go to that event, amazing privilege to even be able to get the time face to face. But again, just for somebody to listen to us here in Australia and understand that we have a different power plug than the rest of the world, or that we have people who live on 1 million acres, and that is something, that is a phenomenal different understanding to those people who live in Europe or Asia or America, are just the vastness of our land and our small population, but the struggles that we face. That was great to be listened to. And I do believe that Ubiquiti would have gone back going, I think there's some things that we can do that can help our product range and our adoption rate in Australia. So that was for me probably those highlights. There's plenty of new access points coming, doesn't take a lot. Use plenty of things, like I said, for enterprise. There's some more in that sort of ultra space, those new white units, the smaller form factor, which is great. We've got that PTZ camera coming, that's not a shock to anybody. We've got, cut down readers that don't need a UA hub to work. That's pretty exciting as well. And we've got a whole other things that we can see in the software and new AI features and things like that coming as well, that I really think that this is maturing into a product set that will talk to each other in a way that we can actually use and go, okay, well, I need cameras, I need switching. And there are very few vendors that do everything in one platform. And I know that that might mean, well, that's not as good as that because it doesn't do this, and it's not as good as that. But maybe when we look at it as a whole holistic approach and go, but I can do protect, I can do cameras, I can do access points, I can do switches, I can do routing, I can do a certain amount of firewall, and I can do all of those well. And some of those ones I can do great, and some of those I can do excellently. And if we stick with it, I think we will see that all come into that great and excellent. But we can't judge it against other vendors all of the time because they just specialize in cameras or just specialize in network. I know that probably sounds like a massive evangelism thing for Ubiquiti, but I was truly struck by my time and grabbing a heart of where the person who created this company says this is where we want to go. And so hopefully that's been my thoughts. All right, there's a great lot of things coming this year. I'm really excited about what Ubiquiti has got. Head on over to our YouTube channel. Why don't you subscribe, stay up to date? We've always got the up-to-date stuff that comes out. We don't get sent stuff for free. We always buy our stuff so we can give you a unbiased opinion. If we don't think it's any good, we'll say we don't think it's any good or what it's short of and what can be improved for us to use it. So why don't you subscribe and stay up to date?